go through a series of 10 exercises for my first seminar. So first exercise we're going to start with here, we're actually going to start with the hip crossover stretch, palms down. So I have Devin here to help me out today. What I'm first going to ask you to do is get down on the ground for me and lay on your back. And I'm going to have you bring your arms out to the sides, palms down. And what I want you to do is I'm going to have you bring up your left leg and put your knee at about a 45-degree angle, so your foot's flat on the ground.
I'm sorry.
Good. Next thing we're going to do is I'm going to have you bring your right ankle up and place it on your left knee. Good. So I'm just going to ask you to straighten your foot out here. And what I'm going to have you do now is you're just going to gently rotate to your left so that right foot is placed flat on the ground. And I'm going to have you look away to your right. Now while you're laying here, we're going to make sure that your leg is at a 90-degree angle. And what I want you to focus on here is gently pushing out on your knee. So you're going to use those hip muscles. And this exercise is actually going to work on your hip and spinal rotation. And we hold this for 1 minute. So again, constantly, I want you to focus on pushing out on this knee. Feel a good stretch?
Mm-hmm.
So we would hold this for a full minute. After the full minute, I'm going to have you rock back up here so that your back is flat on the ground, so bring your legs towards me. And you're going to bring that right leg down, and now we're going to switch sides and do the same thing. Right, and this time you're going to let your legs fall towards me. Let that left leg fall down to the ground. Flex this foot. And I want you to push out gently on this knee with the head turned away like you did. Good stretch. All right, so when we finish the full minute on this side, I'll have you rock back up again, and we'll get started on the next exercise, which is going to be the crocodile. So you're going to lay like you are now, again with your arms out, straight out from the sides, palms down. I'm going to have you put your legs out straight, toes towards the ceiling. And we're going to put your ankles at about hip width apart, so about 4 inches between your feet here. And what I'm going to have you do now is I want you to bring this right heel, and you're going to place your Achilles between your big toe and your second toe on your left foot. Good. And what we're going to focus on here, I want you to really tense up those quads. I want you to squeeze that butt nice and tight, and you're going to roll to the left here onto your left hip.
Am I keeping my shoulders flat?
Yep. Again, head away. So you're going to face towards the right. I want you to focus on trying to keep these feet flexed back towards your belly button. Keep those quads nice and tight. And keep that butt nice and tight. So again, we would hold this for 1 minute on this side. Once we get through the first minute here, I'm going to have you rock back on your back. You're going to reposition your feet first to make sure that your feet are hip width apart, so about 4 inches between. You're going to pull your toes back towards your belly button. You're going to take that left foot and place your Achilles between those first 2 toes. This time you're going to gently roll towards me onto that right hip, head facing away. So what we want to focus on here is keeping your legs nice and straight.
Shoulder grip.
Quads tight, butt tight. All right, so again, we would hold that for another minute, and then we'll have you relax. And for the next exercise, we're going to have you get up, and we're going to stand in front of this wall here. So this next exercise is called the standing windmill, which you've watched me do a million times. What we're going to focus on here when we're getting set up is I want you to bring your heels so they're actually touching the wall. For this exercise, we want your heels, your butt, and your shoulders back against the wall. So we're going to stand again with your feet about hip width apart. So about 4 inches between. You want to make sure your feet are coming straight out from the wall. So I'm actually going to have you bring your right heel out just a little bit. You're going to bring your arms out to the sides so that you're parallel with the floor. So what we're going to focus on here is a nice smooth motion. You're actually going to feel your back gliding along the wall. And we're going to try and stabilize that pelvis, and your movement should just be coming from your torso. So we're going to do 5 repetitions each way. Good. So things we're looking for here, making sure that your hips are staying still while you're doing the exercise, which might mean your motion's not quite as big, but that's okay. We're going to make sure that your heels are not coming off the ground. Sorry. Alright, so as you go and you get a little bit tired, sometimes those hips will start moving. But we're going to focus on your motion coming from your sides of your torso. So we do 5 on each side, then we're going to spread the feet a little bit further. We'll do 5 more at this position. Again, making sure his feet are coming straight out from the wall. Back against the wall, butt against the wall, heels against the wall. 5 each direction. You just want to do a couple. Keeping those hips nice and still. And then the last position again, we will move the feet out even wider this time. Feet facing straight out, arms parallel with the floor. Back gliding to the left and to the right. Shoulders against the wall, motion coming from that torso. Hips still. And then to finish off the exercise, we bring the feet in again, about hip width apart. We finish with 5 more in this starting position. Next exercise we have here is going to be standing arm circles. So for this next one, I'm actually going to have Devin step off the wall. Just as in our other exercises, our focus here in his starting position is going to be feet hip width apart. So you might bring them even just a little bit closer together for me. Feet facing forward. We're going to use a golfer's grip in this exercise. So what I want you to do is take your fingertips and you're going to bring your fingertips into the top pads of your hands. Squeeze nice and tight, thumbs out. You're going to bring your arms up to the sides so that you're parallel with the floor. Thumbs facing forward. And what we're going to do here is you're going to do 40 arm circles for me. So we're going to look for, about 6-inch circles, the size of a dinner plate about. You're going to focus on trying to keep your belly nice and relaxed. You'll actually feel a little bit of a sway, a little bit of an oscillation as you go, which is what we want to do. Working on your lumbar and thoracic, bilateral lumbar function. As he gets tired, we might see him starting to drop his arms a little bit, or his arms actually starting to come forward a little bit. So that's something I would keep an eye on during this exercise. Once we get through 40 going forward here, I'm going to have him stop, bring his arms down. This time he's going to keep his golfer's grip again, but you're going to go palms up, thumbs facing backwards, arms up again. Good. I'm going to squeeze those shoulder blades together. And same thing here, we're going to do 40 circles going backwards. So same size. Try and keep that belly nice and relaxed. There you go. The motion should be coming from your shoulders. And again, get that nice kind of oscillation, a little bit of sway while he's doing it. So what we would do here is we go through 40, take a little bit of a breather, and then we would go through and do each one more time. Next one we're going to do is a static extension position. So we're going to be working on his lumbar and his thoracic extension. For this exercise, I'm going to ask Devin to get down on hands and knees. For position positioning for this, we want his knees to be directly under his hips, tops of his feet down on the floor, and then shoulders also over his wrists here. Hands facing forward. Come back just a little bit. Good. Now before we get started here, I'm going to have him now walk his hands about 6 inches forward. So if you do your right one first, it's about the size of your hand. Good. Now walk out the other one with it. Now what Devin's going to do is I'm going to ask him to rock forward. So now his shoulders are going to line up over his wrists again. And what we're going to focus on here, Devin's going to rotate his pelvis, so he's going to put an arch in that lower back. We're going to bring his shoulder blades together and let his back sink down in, and you're going to drop your head down to your chest. So we're going to hold this position here. Again, the big focus here is going to be that arch in the back, letting that back kind of sink down in, bringing those shoulder blades together. And that's my wonderful dog. So we're going to stay in this position here. We're going to hold this actually for 2 minutes. I would be keeping an eye on his form during this, making sure, again, that his shoulders are over his wrists. Nice arch in the back, big stretch. So after 2 minutes, we're going to have Devin come back up again. And next position is going to be the upper spinal floor twist, which is focusing on torso rotation. So I'm sorry to say I'm going to ask you to get on the floor again. Start on your back, and then we're going to actually roll to one side so you can face towards the camera. And what we're going to focus on here is going to be, again, 90-degree angle in that knee here. Bring, your legs up. Good. I want to make sure that your shoulders are stacked one on top of the other. So right now your bottom shoulder is forward. I want you to bring it back underneath so that this shoulder is directly on top of this one. We're going to bring our arms straight out in front of you together. And what we're going to do here is I'm going to have you open with that top arm, and you're going to watch your arm as you do, and so your head's going to move with it up over your body. We're going to focus on keeping these knees together as you go. So you're going to come up, get that nice twist. You can use that left arm there to hold your knees so that they don't come apart. Really open up, get that nice big stretch. Keep those knees together. And then we hold this position for a minute as well. Devin's fairly flexible in his upper body, so he actually can reach the floor when he comes around. Not everyone can do that, so it may take a little bit of time. Afterwards, we would have Devin bring his arm back over again, closing that gap between his two arms. And then we'll roll over to his back and onto his right side, and we will do the same thing here. So again, bringing those knees up, looking at that 90-degree angle here. And this time towards the left, he's going to bring that left arm up and over, following with his gaze. Opening up, and making sure these knees are staying together, not coming off the ground. So holding them can be very helpful. Again, we're going to hold this for another minute here. We just have, I think, 4 more. So after that minute goes by, I'll have you roll over back on your back. This time we're actually going to go over towards the wall, and you're going to lay facing the wall so that your feet can actually go on the wall here. I want you to lay just far enough away. We're going to put your knee in a 90-degree angle here with your feet up on the wall. Good. So again, before we even really get started here, we're going to check ankle, knee, and foot positioning. So I'm going to be looking for a nice 90-degree angle here. We're going to be placing his feet at about hip width apart, so you can actually bring them a little bit closer. We're going to want to make sure his feet are completely straight, so you can just kick out that left heel just a little bit. Good. And what we're going to do for this one, Devin's going to lay with his arms out to his sides, somewhere between 90 and 45 degrees. This time with palms up. Oh, this is still recording. Now I'm going to have him take his right ankle again. He's going to bring his right ankle over to his left knee. Keeping that foot nice and straight. And again, what he's going to focus on here, keeping that upper body nice and relaxed, he's gently going to push out on that knee, away from his body, but you're just going to use your hips. Yep. So again, upper body nice and relaxed. That gentle pressure pushing out on that knee there. What we're looking for here, we're really working on pelvic stabilization through femur rotation. But I want to make sure as he's doing the exercise that he is keeping his hips on the ground and not rotating up in order to get that extra little bit of movement. So we'll hold this position here for about a minute again. Once he's done, we'll take his foot back to the wall. We're going to make sure foot straight, that we're in line. We have our 90-degree angle. And then he's going to bring his left ankle to his right knee. Again, gentle pressure pushing out on that knee there, making sure the hips not popping off the ground. Upper body nice and relaxed. Bring that right heel out just a little bit for me. And we'll hold this for another minute. So after a minute of this, we'll have Devin relax. We're going to have him get up for our next exercise, which is going to be downward dog. So once again, we're going to have Devin start on hands and knees here. We're going to make sure he's nice and lined up. Once again, so hips are over knees. Shoulders are over, wrists here, which you may not be able to see. And once we're in ready position, he's going to tuck his feet under, so the balls of his feet are on the ground, and he's going to use this to push himself upwards. And the goal here is going to be that we would love to get his heels on the ground. Now, depending on the flexibility of the person, this may be something that we're going to need to work on. The biggest things here, again, we're going to try and flatten this back as much as possible. Nice stretch here. Put a little bit of an arch in your back if at all possible. Now, Devin's legs are very tight here. If needed, we could put a little bit of bend in his knees, so we can focus a little bit more on flattening this back here. And as you can see, we just did that. His form immediately got a lot better.
I just worked out.
So we'll hold this for 1 minute. Basically, this exercise engages the extensors of the full body. And once again, I'd be focusing on bringing those shoulder blades together, head hanging down, flat back, the best you can. After a minute, we'll have Devin come up here. Two more exercises, and then we're done. Next one we're going to do are some supine foot circles and point flexes, which are going to work on the functioning of the lower leg muscles. So I'm going to have you, once again, get down on the ground laying on your back. And we're going to bring legs, once again, about hip width apart, toes towards the ceiling. First leg we'll do, I'll have Devin bring up his right leg and bring his knee towards your shoulders. I'm going to have you take your hands and you're going to clasp them behind your right knee. Perfect. What we're going to focus on here, really, the idea is to keep this shin about parallel with the floor the best we can, but also we want to keep his shoulders on the ground. Now, if Devin's not flexible enough, or he's having trouble getting the leg up, keeping the shoulders back, we can use a strap to put behind his knee instead. Biggest other thing to watch for on this here is this leg that's out straight. We want to watch foot positioning, which means we're going to bring the foot, toes pointed back towards your belly button, facing straight up. So the series for this is going to be, we're going to do 40 foot circles clockwise, counterclockwise. 40 of each to start. Be These should be fairly slow, controlled foot circles, really focusing on that motion. Again, as he starts to get tired, we may see his legs start to pop up or even fall down. What I've seen mostly has been his leg starts coming up. So we want to keep an eye out for that. Make sure he's getting that good motion through the full circle. Once he goes through 40 this direction, we're then going to have him go counterclockwise. Again, focusing on these shoulders, should be flat on the floor here. So with Devin, I may have opted to get a strap to use, which we don't have at home right now. So we go through 40 of these, and then to finish with this leg, we're going to do 40 point flexes. So you're going to bring your toes back towards your belly button and then point away. Back and point. All the while, as he focuses on this leg, you're going to have to keep an eye on this foot. Once Devin completes 40 of these, I'll have him lower his leg. We'll have him then bring his left leg up, clasping his hands behind his knee again, trying to keep the shin parallel with the floor, watching leg positioning of the straight leg, toes pointed up towards the ceiling. And we would go through the sequence again. 40 clockwise, 40 counterclockwise, and 40 point flexes. All right, and last exercise is going to be air bench. So I'm going to ask Devin to actually put some sneakers on for me. For this exercise, because of the positioning and the demand of the exercise, we'll have people either put on sneakers so that they don't slide on the floor, or if they're barefoot, on a yoga mat as a safety precaution. This exercise is really going to be focusing on quad strength, helps to promote proper function with lower leg joints, lower bearing joints. Once again, we're going to focus on keeping his upper body relaxed and proper positioning of his lower body. So what I'm going to have Devin do now is I'm going to have you step back against the wall here. And once we're standing back up against the wall, I'm going to have you slide your lower body down while you bring your feet out, step your feet out from the wall. You're not going to come down quite yet. What we're going to focus on here is I want him to bring his feet out far enough so that his ankles are in front of his knees. Once again, we're going to have our feet about hip width apart. We're going to make sure his feet are facing forward, nice and straight. So I bring your toes out just a little bit. And you can bring your feet a little bit further forward for me. And we're going to have Devin kind of slide down into a position. It doesn't have to go all the way down to 90 degrees, about 105 degrees will work for this exercise. A little bit lower. Focusing on keeping that upper body relaxed, so he can let his arms hang down to the sides nice and relaxed, or if he feels more comfortable, palms up with his hands on his quads. So big things I'm going to be watching here with Devin in this exercise. I want you to really focus on pushing that lower back into the wall, which is actually going to rotate your pelvis forward a little bit. And I want you to try and keep the weight in your heels. There we go.
Literally just squatted.
We try to hold this exercise for 2 minutes, depending on the individual. Some people might be able to go a little longer. Maybe not today for you. I have noticed that some people will, their knees will start going out to the sides when they start getting tired, so we want to keep an eye on knees over ankles. And once again, bring those heels. There we go. So I'll hold this for 2 minutes. Thank you, Devin, for being such a good student.
Oh, second workout.
Bye.